Hey again, guys. I don't want you to smash that like button because I don't even know how you would do that with your thumb or something. I don't want you to visit my Instagram page because I don't have one. I definitely don't want you to visit my sponsor because I'm an old loser with no money and no subs and I don't have a sponsor. That said, let's get into this. I have my little Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium bat here. When I was little, we used to take a Nerf basketball and we would play home run derby in the house. And we had these bookshelves. My parents had these bookshelves. And if you hit the ball above the bookshelf, it was a home run. We tried to throw curves and stuff with that ball. And we didn't break anything. Brings back memories. And we used to impersonate the Pittsburgh Pirates starting lineup. Willie Stargell or Dave Parker or Tim Foley choking way up on the bat. I wanted to talk to you about my thoughts on the card hobby. I believe that the sports card hobby will rebound. Now, history doesn't always repeat itself, but oftentimes it does. And sometimes things are a bit different. For instance, we went through a Great Depression. That didn't repeat itself. But the reason it didn't repeat itself is because government made new rules. There were new things put into place to prevent it from happening again. Otherwise, it may have happened in 2008 and 9. But government can print money. We have welfare systems and things along those lines now, which we did not have during the Great Depression. We have, banks backed by the federal government, which we did not have during the Great Depression. And as you saw, banks had to be bailed out. So that's the reason it didn't repeat itself. The crash of the Great Depression repeated itself, but not necessarily the effects of it. Now, in the 1990s, there was a big stock market run. And you can make money so easily in the stock market, similarly to a few years ago, where people were quitting their jobs and day trading. And you saw all these day trading books come out, how to day trade, seminars, how to day trade. And people were quitting their jobs and doing it. Then what happened? The dot-com bubble burst. The dot-com bubble burst. Can't day trade anymore. No more books coming out. See, what drives markets, all markets, are two basic things. One is the fear of missing out on making money, and the other is the fear of losing money. So the fear of missing out on making money drives things up. The fear of losing money drives things down. See, in sports cards, I find similarities here. I think we're going through the sports card market right now, what we did during the dot-com bubble. And after everything crashed, what happened? We weeded out the fast money people. We weeded out those day traders. Nobody was day trading. And markets went back to normal. During that time period, there were a lot of scammers too, just like in the card market. If you saw the movie Boiler Room, there were shell companies being created, and people would call me all the time at my office trying to sell me these up-and-coming companies. And they'd be like, it's going to triple in a month. And I'm like, well, then why aren't you buying it? Why are you trying to sell it to me? The law came down hard on those people, and they were scamming for a while, but the law catches up with you. I think we're probably going to see that in the sports card market. I think the law is going to catch up with some of these people. Now, we don't have the strict rules in place. We don't have the protections. I mean, people are selling you a card. If they scam you, what are the real repercussions? If they didn't steal that card or do something illegal, we don't have the strict laws in place like trading stocks. But I do find a lot of similarities now with what was going on then. Now, none of us can predict the future. We don't know. Now, you might say, hey, I saw guys on YouTube and they were predicting the card market boom. No, they weren't. They were creating it. They were creating the card boom by selling to their friends at these ridiculous prices and having everything go up. Now, I've been outspoken in the hobby and always trying to be outspoken on behalf of collectors, as I recently did again when people started to want to blame collectors for what's going on in the hobby. And it's not fair. You know, collectors, we got punished, man. We had to, and I just say this, I have sold cards. I used to sell my doubles when I first got back into collecting again in 2001, because I didn't have a whole lot of money at that time, and I needed to fund the cards, new cards. So I sold doubles. And on occasion, I sold cards that I really didn't want, that didn't fit into my collection, in order to fund buying new cards. There's nothing wrong with selling cards. That's not what we're talking about here. So I think that we're just getting back to normal. That's what I think. You know, us collectors, when all the flippers came in, just like, you know, in stocks, when you have no fear of losing money, you go in head first. You go in. You don't have any fear of losing money because everything you buy is going to go up. We saw it in sports cards. We saw it in the stock market, Bitcoin, you name it. When things turn around, now that fear of losing kicks in, right? Now you're afraid to put your money in there because there's no guarantee that you're going to make money. And so that causes more and more down. But eventually that levels off. Things go back to normal. Now, I've been outspoken on people that come down on collectors. You know, for us collectors, it wasn't fun to have to pay more, to not be able to find boxes at Target or Walmart, to have to pay up for boxes on the secondary market, to wait 8 months or 18 months to get our cards graded, to have to pay 4 times as much to get our cards graded, to have to send our cards in and then be told, well, the price went up, so you owe us more now at PSA, and you're not getting your cards back until you do. We've watched people take submissions, group submissions, and what happened? Some of them didn't work out too well. Now you see, with the flippers, less and less flippers, you see less videos on YouTube recommending stuff. You see the grading companies are competing and lowering their grades because they're not inundated with all the flippers who are grading every card and selling them to each other. So this is a collector's dream, really. We're getting back to normal. Now we can send cards in for grading again. We can get them back at a reasonable time and we can pay less for them. And I know it was the flippers that were causing this, the flippers and the investors who were causing this inundation, because I guarantee you, I mean, I can't guarantee it, but I believe with all my heart that probably more collectors are grading cards today than they were a year or two ago. Because now it's back to normal. I know I stopped grading cards when this all hit. I haven't graded cards for several years. I ain't paying those prices. So now I guarantee you more collectors who have been holding on to cards, they didn't want to wait the time, they didn't want to pay the fees, are now getting cards graded. There was probably a backlog for them. So it's the collectors that are back to normal, that are doing business as usual. All we are doing is weeding out the bad actors, the scammers, and the people trying to make a buck off of us quickly or off of each other. And that's why I think that the hobby will be fine. It will rebound over time. You have to remember that At one time, Amazon stock dropped to $1. Yahoo was considered a darling, even though they were losing $1 billion a year. And what happened? It went down. It never came back. Things get frothy. They get frothy when people have no fear of losing money and they have a fear of missing out on making money. That's what happens. And so that's my prediction. I don't know that we're ever going to go back to the ridiculous prices of people having their friends bid $400,000, for certain cards. I do believe that your Mickey Mantle 52s, your T206s, those types of vintage cards will always carry a huge premium. They are like the art investments, the top art pieces, top coins. I think those kinds of things will always hold their value. But as we've seen with modern and ultra modern, that's more of a fad right now where it came and now it's going. So I just want to put out a positive message there that the card hobby is going to be stronger for this. We're going to weed out the bad actors. We're going to get back to normal. We're going to have a little respect maybe from the grading companies who now all they have are us, right? Now they're lowering their prices. They need us again. And a lot of other companies are going to need us again. And that's really all I have to say on that. Thanks for watching.